Right now, billions of people are watching the World Cup. But what if I told you humans have been playing this game for over 3,000 years? This is the untold story of the world's first ball games and the civilizations that invented them. 3,000 years ago, deep in the jungles of Central America, the Maya weren't just building pyramids, they were building stadiums. Ball courts carved from stone, stretching over 150 feet long. The game was called Pok-A-Tok. Players had to keep a rubber ball in the air, using only their hips, knees, and elbows. No hands, no feet. Sound familiar? The goal? A stone ring mounted vertically on the wall, about 20 feet high. Getting the ball through it was nearly impossible. But this wasn't just sport. It was ritual. It was religion. Some ceremonies connected to the game may have involved human sacrifice, although historians still debate exactly who was chosen and why. Over 1,500 ball courts have been discovered across Mexico and Central America. This game was everywhere. And the ball itself? Made from solid rubber, centuries before Europe even knew rubber existed. The Maya didn't just play a game. They created the blueprint for organized, competitive sport. But they weren't alone. Thousands of miles away, another civilization was doing something remarkably similar. Welcome to ancient China, 2,300 years ago. During the Han Dynasty, Chinese soldiers played a game called Cuju, which literally means kick the ball. 2 teams, 1 ball, a goal with a net. And FIFA has described Cuju as the earliest known form of football-like play. Cuju wasn't just for soldiers. Emperors loved it. Women played it. There were professional players, paid to play, in 300 BC. Professional athletes, paying audiences, official competitions. This was a sports industry, 2,000 years before the Premier League. One emperor was so obsessed with Cuju, historians say he neglected state affairs to watch matches. Sound like anyone you know watching the World Cup right now? But here's the question historians still argue about. Did Cuju influence ancient football in Europe? Or did humans, completely independently, just invent the same game? The answer might surprise you. In ancient Greece, 2,500 years ago, there was a game called episkiros. Teams, a ball, boundaries, rules. The Romans took the Greek game, upgraded it, and called it harpastum. Roman legions played it across the empire, from Britain to Egypt. Think about that. Roman soldiers brought a ball game to Britain in 43 AD. And 2,000 years later, Britain gave football back to the world. History doesn't move in straight lines. It moves in circles. Now, let's go back to the Americas. Because the Maya weren't the only ones obsessed with ball games, the Aztecs played a version so intense, so serious, that matches could last days. The stakes weren't just winning. Entire cities bet their wealth on match outcomes. But to understand why the game mattered so much to the Aztecs, you need to understand how they saw the world. For the Aztecs, the universe was fragile. The sun could die. The earth could crack. The gods needed to be fed, constantly, or everything would collapse. And the ball game was connected directly to that belief. The rubber ball itself represented the sun, heavy, powerful, always moving. The court represented the sky. And the players? They were standing between the gods and the end of the world. This wasn't entertainment. This was cosmic maintenance. The Aztec ball game was called Tlachtli, and unlike modern football, there were no seasons, no off days. Matches were tied to religious calendars, to eclipses, to the movements of planets. When a great match was scheduled, the entire city prepared for days. Priests performed rituals, markets closed, nobles traveled from distant cities just to watch. The players trained for years. They wore thick leather padding on their hips and knees because the ball weighed up to 9 pounds of solid rubber. A direct hit could break bones. Some players died on the court. And yet, they kept playing. When Spanish conquistadors arrived in the 1500s, they watched an Aztec ball game and were completely speechless. They wrote home saying the ball moved with sorcery because they'd never seen rubber bounce before. One Spanish priest described watching a player score, sending the heavy ball through the stone ring, and said the crowd reaction was unlike anything he had ever witnessed in Europe. People threw jewelry onto the court. They tore off their cloaks and gave them to the scorer. It was the ancient world's version of a stadium going absolutely insane. And here is what makes this truly extraordinary. The Aztecs believed that when a great game was played, when the ball moved perfectly, when the crowd roared, when a score was made, the gods were watching, and the world survived another day. So here's the incredible truth. From China to Mexico to Greece to Rome, completely separate civilizations with no contact with each other, all invented the same game. What does that tell us? That humans, across all cultures and all time, have one thing in common. We love to compete. We love to play. The World Cup may be modern, but the human passion behind it is more than 3,000 years old. Next time you watch a player score and run to celebrate, know that somewhere 3,000 years ago, another human did exactly the same thing. And the crowd went wild. Which ancient civilization's ball game surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments and subscribe, because Lost Thrones has more untold stories waiting for you.